sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Yeah. Last football game of the season, boys and girls. We made it, Super Bowl. I didn't make it, but our rep. What can we do? Happy Friday, everybody. L'chaim and all that good stuff. This is going to be our Super Bowl video. It's sad, man. I love football. When I decided to start this channel, it was more about football at the time, you know? I love all sports, but football is the greatest. And we made it to the pinnacle. I think we probably got, some will argue that, you know, there might have been better teams in the AFC, and the Chiefs use a lot of referee help, and we know that. The Lions could have been here, could have been a lot different, but I think we got two good teams, and I'm happy to see a rematch in what I think will be a competitive game. So I wanted to make this video just to share some of the fun props that I've seen out there that, and a lot of you guys will know exactly what those are, but if you're going to a Super Bowl party on Sunday, if you're watching at the house, you just want to have some action, something fun you can do with your girl or your wife or, you know, the kids or whatever, or make a couple bets with friends. It just makes watching this game more fun if you don't have a rooting interest in one of these teams. And let's face it, a lot of people are over the Chiefs, so they don't care. They're over the Taylor Swift thing, so they don't care. The Eagles fans are a little bit obnoxious, so they don't care. So it's just, we're trying to give some extra reasons. And then I'm going to give some spread props that I actually like if you're trying to, you know, cash some coin here. I personally did really well this football season. I didn't make a lot of football videos on here, but the football videos I did pretty well on. So let's kick it off. Let's give it a roll. First things first, I'm going to start with the fun props. These are the ones that you can do with your in-laws and stuff like that, where it's kind of harmless. You know, you don't look like a complete degenerate like the rest of us do, you know, most of the time. So the first one I saw that I really liked that was a little bit it's not out of the box. I've been doing this prop for years, but a lot of people don't. The shortest touchdown scored in the game. The prop is set at 1.5 yards. So if you're unfamiliar with how that works, basically you can take an over 1.5 yards or under, meaning what is the shortest touchdown going to be scored? Will there be one scored from 1 yard or closer, or will the closest one be from 2 yards away or further? If you watch these two teams, I think you pretty much know the answer of what that bet should be. Philadelphia and their tush push. The thing is, you got to land on the 1 yard line for that bet. So if this game doesn't end up on the 1 yard line for anything, this bet doesn't matter. But more often than not, you're going to get a play at that 1 yard line some point in the game. And it doesn't have to be the Eagles, although that's an easy one. And that'll play into one of the other picks that I actually like for the game in a little while, that I think is sneaky and will probably be used and really just undervalued. So that's the first one. The second one is the coin toss. And the coin toss I never understood, because the coin toss is juiced to -115, meaning you'd have to bet $115 to win 100. And it's literally a 50-50 chance. I know some people will say a coin is weighted and it's got more likelihood to land on heads than tails, but the sports books don't see it that way. They give it a 50-50 shot. And so I stay away from that bet, although it's fun because it's just instant, get it over with real quick. Most people are still talking, grabbing a plate of food, grabbing a beer before that point. So they don't even notice, but it gives you something to get right to the game with. So that's my second one. That one can be fun. The third one I did see online. I thought this one was really interesting. It's not available on my book that I use most of the time. I'm in Florida, so I use a Hard Rock app. But I have offshore accounts that I use sometimes. And those accounts, they have this. Everybody has it. The color of Tom Brady's necktie. And I read a couple articles about it to get to this point, and I have a little bit of advice on it. The colors that they offer, I wrote down, are blue, black, yellow, red, green, pink, white, or gray. I ruled out a bunch of these by obvious reasons. He's not going to wear red. He's not going to wear green because that shows a preference for one of the two teams playing in the game. So you don't take those right away. I don't see him wearing a pink necktie. That's no shade towards anybody. I don't see him wearing a pink necktie. That one just, the white or gray, I think he stays away from that because of his new ownership job with the Raiders. And I don't think he wants anybody to focus on that portion of anything. So really that just leaves 3 ties. And the first one, the blue one, is plus 130. That's the lowest odds on the board. It's just, a blue tie is very Americano. Just, hey, I'm here for America's big game, representing it. That's the likely one. But black at plus 1,200 and yellow at plus 1,200, I think, are also worth maybe a $5 throw at. So those are cool ones you could do that, your wife could do, and she doesn't know anything about football, but she can look at a necktie and make a guess. So, you know what I mean? So that's that. Fourth one I have is the national anthem. This one's been done forever. Jose Batista is singing it. He plays instruments sometimes. He's done the anthem before, not at the Super Bowl. The timer's set at 2 minutes exactly, 120 seconds. And the thing with the 120 seconds is some books do it differently, where they do it based on when the singing starts, and some do it when the instruments start. And this gentleman happens to play instruments also, and we don't know what he's going to do. So that could be a fun one to do. Another one I saw that I liked is total touchdowns. Anyone can guess that. The line is set at 5.5 over or under 5.5 total touchdowns in the game. So will there be 6 touchdowns or will there be less? That should be a fun one. Kendrick Lamar's first song, Humble, is the odds-on favorite, followed by Not Like Us. He's not going to play Not Like Us first. He's going to play that last. And Humble, probably not first. I think he's going to go with something more obscure. So if you have that on your book or on an offshore book, take a look at that. That could be fun. Something to do at halftime. And so that's going to be it for the fun props. So that's a good amount there. I think it's giving you 6 props. Those are some fun things you could do at any point. The props I really like for the game, there's 2 game props that are just based on what will these teams do in the game. They're not based on a physical player doing anything. They're not even based on one team or another team. They're based on both teams. So the first one I like, which I think everyone should be on this one, both teams to have the lead in the second half of the game. That's plus 130. I don't know how that's plus money. The idea that you watch a Kansas City Chiefs game and think there will not be some sort of lead change in the second half is crazy to me. So essentially, if there's not a tie at halftime, someone has the third quarter lead, 13-10, and then other team with 10 comes out and scores in the first couple minutes and takes the lead, your bet hits. I mean, but plus 130, that's almost giving away money. So for anybody who doesn't know how that works, that's if you bet $100, you win 130 back. So for 230. So that's a good one. The second one I saw, will there be a successful 2-point conversion? Not will there be a try, will there be a successful one? This lends into another pick that I saw from a dude I recently started following on Twitter. His name is Steak Friend. Steak is spelled with 2 A's. This dude does all sorts of cool shit on there, and he bet this prop called an octopus, which I think is fantastic. An octopus is where a guy scores a touchdown, it's worth 6 points, and then that same person scores the 2-point conversion on the same set of plays. So he's scoring 8 points, hence the octopus. So that one's plus 1,200, so I'm going to bet that one just because of the long odds, and I think that that's very possible. People like Travis Kelce have done that before. So I think that one's got good legs. And so with that being said, I do think there'll be a successful 2-point conversion in the game, and that's plus 230. So now that's getting to be like really good odds for your money. You bet $10, you win $23 back. It's just, it's something where you don't have to bet a lot of money on, but the likelihood of there being an actual 2-point conversion converted in this day and age in the NFL, I love it. And then I'm going to get to my player props here real quick before I give us the game spreads. I don't want to make this video too long or overwhelm anybody. If you've watched this far, thanks for watching. We try to give out some fun stuff and some team stuff, but this is going to be the actual props that I like for players in the game. My favorite prop in the game is going to be, he was the hero, or whatever you want to call it, of the first meeting in the Super Bowl between these two. Juju Smith-Schuster, his longest catch, over 11.5 yards. They have his total catches at over 1.5, and it's minus 140. So that's really juiced thinking he's going to catch 2 passes. He's not a bubble screen guy. So essentially, if you think he's going to catch 2 passes and his receiving yards total is 16.5, he's not going to catch 2 8-yard passes. This guy is a chain mover. This guy, he did it last week 2 weeks ago against Buffalo. Sorry, Nick. This guy catches downfield plays on out routes and post routes that get chunk yardage plays that move the chains against your nickel. So he's just a really good dude, and he's been there before. He's been there with Mahomes before. I just trust him. I trust him to make a play in the Super Bowl. I need him to catch a 12-yard pass. So that's my favorite play on the board. My second favorite play on the board, and this might trend you towards who I'm taking, but there's a lot of data that points in this direction, and I'll get to my pick at the end. My second favorite prop is going to be Mahomes over 1.5 touchdown passes. It's extremely chalky. It's like minus 190. So put that in a parlay if you're going to bet it with something else that you kind of like. Don't go crazy on that one. That's essentially, you got to bet $200 to win $100. But I think Mahomes, I don't think Kansas City's going to be able to run the ball against this team. A lot of people like rushing props in this game. I don't for Kansas City, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But that one, that's my second favorite prop, Mahomes over 1.5 touchdown passes. Kind of chalky again, but I'd go for it. My third one, I like this guy a lot, and lots of people like this guy a lot, so don't be surprised if you hear his name a lot through everything you see. Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert to have, this is crazy, Dallas Goedert to have a rushing yard, 1 rushing yard. If you have been watching the Eagles of late at all, Dallas Goedert has been doing the tush push a lot. Philly has pulled out their best plays in very big situations a lot, including the Super Bowl in the past. So I'm not putting it past them for this guy to get a rushing yard. He comes in motion, he stops and just sneaks forward for a yard. That's all we need. He won't touch the ball again. That's at plus 190. So essentially they're almost tripling your money. You bet, $10, you're going to win $30 total back. So that bet just kind of doesn't make sense to me. It's almost like they know that he's not going to run the play, and we all think NFL scripted, but just with what he's been doing, I don't see a reason not to throw money at that. I mean, plus money bets like this, they're not wildly out of character for somebody like that. And it's not like Travis Kelce's not listed. He's run the ball tons of times in his life. It's just because they've been running this play. I wouldn't be surprised if they ran it. And it's not like the Chiefs can do anything about it. Chris Jones, as big as he is not going to stop Dallas Goedert from moving forward a yard. He's just not with that offensive line. So if Jalen Hurts can do it, Dallas Goedert, it's a reason they've been running the play. They don't want to get Hurts injured. He's got a bum knee still, guys. He's going to play on this game, and he's still going to probably be 95%. I don't think he's a full 100% guy. So I like Goddard. Fourth one is going to be Samaje Perine. If you know anything about this guy, he doesn't touch the ball, and then he just shows up and makes a catch when it matters. He did it to Buffalo again. Sorry, Nick. But this dude, he shows up in big moments. Mahomes trusts him. He's played a lot with him. He is a career pass catching back, and his over in receiving yards is 6.5. He's got to catch 7 yards. I'm in on that. You don't have to sell me on that one. That one's an easy one. The reason I'm doing that one and the Juju Smith-Schuster one, and I told you I'd get back to it and why with Mahomes passing attempts for the game is set at 35.5. Over 35.5, and that is juiced to minus 140. So that's telling you Vegas thinks he's going to throw the ball 36 times or more. That's a lot of pass attempts for a team that they suspect to be winning the game. That means that they won't be able to run the ball, which is why I'm not touching a Kansas City rushing prop. Besides one I do like, it's a very low grade one, but a lot of juice on it, or a lot of positive EV on it. But just with that many passing attempts, I don't see why we don't get the obscure dudes. I mean, everyone's going to be on Xavier Worthy. I think Xavier Worthy has a good game, but you know what? If they key on him, he doesn't. Marquise Brown may step up and be the guy. I'm just going to go even more obscure because I've learned over betting these games that it's not always the chalky dude that just shows up out there. Like, clearly Xavier Worthy's going to get attention in this game. You forget DeAndre Hopkins is on their team, and you forget Noah Gray, and you forget Juju Smith-Schuster and P. Ryan and these guys who are just going to have the lesser of the matchups, and I like that. So, my fifth one is going to be Dallas Goedert anytime touchdown. I don't understand why this is plus 240. The Chiefs are horrendous against the tight end. That's why everybody likes his props. They like his receiving yards over 50 or whatever it is. They like him to catch 5 passes. There's no reason why this guy is not getting in the end zone. He could do the tush push from the 1 yard line and catch your shortest touchdown plus rushing yard plus touchdown prop all in one play with Goddard, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. So I love that one at plus 240. He's my favorite above the chalky dudes touchdown guy, like above the A.J. Brown, Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt, Saquon, Jalen Hurts. I've just named 6 people. Devontae Smith. They all have lower touchdown payouts than Goddard. And Goddard, I just see he might get in the end zone twice. I wouldn't be surprised by it. But I like that one at plus 240. The last one I'm going to take is the rushing one I was just alluding to. That I didn't want to do anything rushing with Kansas City, but this one I just really like for the money. Kareem Hunt to get 5 rushing yards in each quarter. He showed me in the last playoff game, they trust him a lot. They don't trust Pacheco at all. I trust Kareem Hunt to grind out the game in the second half. The thing is, Philly likes to take long drives, so I think as long as we get this to hit in the first quarter, I think it hits the 5 yards per quarter. So essentially, he's got to rush for 20 yards with 5 yards per quarter. If he does that, it's plus 260. So, I mean, 5 yards, this guy is averaging like 4 and change in the playoffs. So you're telling me he's got to get 2 carries in the in each quarter, and he covers this number. I'm in on that. So I like all of those. And then I mentioned the octopus one from my, the dude Steak. He's, shout out to him. This dude does some incredible stuff. If you go on Twitter, he's got some basketball stuff that's out of this world, but I liked a lot of his football content he did. I watched a video the other day on him, and that one really stuck out to me because I was like, I really like the octopus as like a long shot play in the Super Bowl, and then that just blends into me thinking there's going to be a successful 2-point conversion. Why can't it be the Barkley to run one in and then run one in again? It's the same thing. So that's going to be everything except for the piece de resistance, the end, who's going to win the football game, who's going to win the Super Bowl, who's our champion. I've learned I hate this. I can't bet against the Kansas City Chiefs anymore. I can't. And it's just foolish to do so. And I'll tell you why. You got a short number here, which tells you that they look as vulnerable as they've looked in some time. And now they've had to come back in their last couple of Super Bowl wins. Against this Eagles team, the last time they beat them, they did not deserve to win that game. That pass interference with Juju Smith-Schuster was horrendous. One of the worst. Referee wanting to be the star of the show and the end of a Super Bowl is just disgusting. I hate that. And so that killed that drama. But I think those teams were less evenly matched at the time. The Chiefs were a better team, and they ended up winning the game, although they didn't deserve it. And this time, I think the Eagles are the better team, and I still think the Chiefs somehow squeak it out. My logic behind it is this. I bet money on the Chiefs. The Chiefs win. I'm just not kicking myself for not betting the Chiefs anymore because I need to learn that Patrick Mahomes owns the playoffs. He's just like Tom Brady, and that he's a winner. I think that I'm annoyed with his personality, with the way that he carries himself, his wife, his brother, his father, the whole Kelce and Taylor Swift thing. I'm over all of the Chiefs fandom that exists out there, but they're a heck of a football team, and Andy Reid is a Hall of Fame coach, and to bet against them is just stupid at this point. If they lose the game and I lose money, I don't care because the Chiefs dynasty is over. Travis Kelce can ride off into the sunset. My wife will be happy that he'll probably marry Taylor Swift, and I can move on with my life and just stop having to worry about the Tom Brady comparisons and everything they're trying to do with Mahomes now. It's overblown. So I win either way. and I'm going to put my money on the smart bet on the Kansas City Chiefs. So Kansas City Chiefs -1 or money line, whatever you want to do it. They're not going to win by 1, I doubt, but stranger things have happened. Two other things I like in the game for the teams themselves. First half under 23.5. The Eagles, besides that NFC Championship game, have continuously gone under 23.5 in the first half. They are a second half team. The Kansas City Chiefs like to grind it out as well. Provided there aren't a bunch of turnovers and short fields, I think that you're going to see a lot of clock chewing drives with short passes, runs on third down, stuff that's just going to keep the clock running, that's going to keep this number under. I think I alluded to 13-10 before. I could see that, and that still gets us under the number. I could see some field goals being kicked in the first half. I could see a 10-9 game. I could see a 13-9 game. There's lots of stuff out there. I think this game is going to start out slower because I think that these defenses are the stars of the show, and unfortunately they don't get all of the kudos. My third pick is, as far as the first half going under, I like the whole game to go over. Telling me that both of these teams are not going to score 24 points is I don't believe that. And the reason being, the Chiefs are 4-0 in the playoffs when both teams score 24 points. Not just this year and the last couple of years, however far back that statistic goes. When they get into these games, in the Super Bowl that these teams played, I think it was 38-35, something like that. There were a lot of points. And again, there was a younger Mahomes, a fresher Jalen Hurts, but there was no Saquon Barkley. There weren't these, electric receivers now. You had your Tyreek Hill, but this is more electric as a unit that Kansas City has with Brown and Hopkins and Worthy. Both have good, running games. Obviously, the continuity of the Eagles is there. I think they both will score, but it's going to be like a halftime adjustment kind of thing that opens the game up. So I like the over in the game. And so that just coincides with the Chiefs team total -20 or over 23.5. I would take it over 24.5. Just 24 is a key number. So, if they win the game 24-21, you hit. If they lose the game 27-24, you don't. I think that they get, or 27-23. I think the Chiefs get there, and I think the Chiefs are the one leading the pack in the second half, and I think the Eagles come back and make it a game, and the Chiefs just... Mahomes is 7 for 7 in late game situations. I alluded to this in a previous video. If the game is on the line in the last minute of the game and Mahomes has the ball and needs to score, either to tie or take the lead in the playoffs, he's 7 for 7 every time it's happened. So it's, who has the ball last? And they're good at that. So I like that one too. So no need to recap or rewind the video if you want to watch. I like the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. I like the Chiefs team total over 23.5. I like the first half under 23.5. And I like the full game over. Those are going to be the basic game ones, all the props. Play around with these. Have fun. It's not meant for you to make a ton of money on the Super Bowl because these are very sharp lines that they've had 2 weeks to work on. Vegas is ready for this stuff. So that's why I go for some obscure picks here. So, good luck. Sorry football's over. We're going to keep piling away with basketball. College basketball is rolling tomorrow is Saturday. We're rolling with that. NBA is rolling tomorrow. We'll have a wonderful Sunday, and then we'll hop right back on the wagon on Monday and get back to basketball again. Baseball is coming up soon. We'll start working on some of that stuff, and we're excited to keep going with you guys. So keep tuning in, and let's go green. Let's make this money. Or let's go red this time, Chiefs.